Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. My name is Hafiz Gufran Ahmed. Currently I am working as an Assistant Dean Humanities in some public sector university, and along with this responsibility of Assistant Deanship, I am also taking care of the Department of Business Management and Economics as head. I will be teaching you subject of business policy, but in a different manner. I will be teaching you this subject under the title of Seminars in Public and Business Policy. And initially I will have been giving you the basic introduction of the concept of public policy and business policy. Then I will be giving you some description, a detailed description of the course contents which we will be covering in these two broader areas of public and business policy. As far as the component of business policy is concerned, it primarily deals with the philosophy of making or formulating policies for the commercial organization, for the business organization, for the multinational corporations at strategic level, at divisional level, and at operational level. To make it more simplified for you, take it like that we would actually have been studying the practices of the multinational from the point of view of the practices of the top management, middle management, and first level management of these multinationals. These contents would be related to the component of the business policy of this subject, and along with that we would inshallah be having detailed discussion on the aspects of public policy. Public policy primarily deals with the policies formulated and implemented by the government for its constituents. In that particular area of public policy, we would be inshallah having detailed discussion on the philosophies and the procedures of the formulation of the policies, execution of those policies formulated by the government for the well-being of their constituents. We would have been discussing the policy cycle, inshallah. We would have been having our discussion in this subject on the different approaches and different types of policy from the public policy point of view. And finally, we would have been discussing the leadership emerged in different countries out of the execution of public policy in different countries. And finally, as far as this component of public policy is concerned, we would have been discussing public policies of 5 or 6 different countries to make you things become more clearer and easier for you as far as the contents and the components of the area of public policy is concerned. So initially, I will have been giving you in this first slide the introduction of the concept of business policy. I will have been describing you the philosophies of the title of this course. I would have been describing you the concept of business and the concept of policy, and then from this title of the subject, we would have been taking our discussion ahead towards the different components of the course of business policy, which has been offered to you with the title of Seminars in Public and Seminars in Business Policy. We would have been dividing this particular course in two main components. Initially, I would have been giving you some discussion, some description, some explanation, and the justification of the concepts of business policy. This particular component of our discussion would have been covering more than almost, if not more than 20 lectures of our discussion for this particular course, and the final 10 to 12 lectures, in those lectures we would have been discussing and describing and explaining. I will try to give you the justification too of the different components which we would have been covering in the area of public policy formulation, public policy implementation, and public policy execution and its follow-up point of view. So initially, in my this first slide, I would have been giving you the introduction of business policy. And for this introduction, first of all, I will have been discussing with you all the formal definition of the concept of business policy. But before defining this term of business policy, I would like to give you some basic justification of the formal meanings of the term of definition. As we are going to define the term business policy, so I would like to tell you initially what we actually have to collect or what we have to actually come out whenever we are going to define something. The concept of definition has been derived from the word of identification. In identification, or in other words, in definition, we will have been discussing actually the details, complete ins and outs of that particular concept, and then along with that complete ins and outs description of that concept, we would have been discussing the associated and the assisted and the attached phenomena with that particular definition. Take the example of your own identity card. For example, at the identity card of one of you, it would have been covering the complete description of yourself, your name of your father, then your what we call it in Zahiri Shanakhti Alamat on your face. They would have been even telling you your permanent address. It would have been describing you your even temporary address. So your identity card would have been describing you from 1 to 100, your complete detail. Same is the case with the definition of any particular concept. Initially, we would have been defining business policy, and out of this definition of business policy, we will be able to collect and earn each and every main and associated concept of business policy. So the definition of business policy goes like that. Business policy is the aggregate of the policy guidelines of different functional areas. And these different functional areas from commercial organizations' point of view are the areas of production, marketing, finance, or if you are even more established organization, you would have to discuss the functional areas of production and operation, the functional area of an organization in the name of training and development, the functional area of management information system, even the functional area of quality assurance and all that. And the initial definition which I have given you actually tells us this something and describes this philosophy that it is actually be the aggregate overall policy guideline. Instantly, you can understand it like that whenever we would have been discussing policy always touches, policy always covers, policy always includes the major and the broader guidelines. And these broader guidelines are meant for the development of the working environment of your organization. It is meant for the promotion and demotion policies of the organization. It describes the way you would have to report your boss. It would have been describing how you would be going to be promoted in your organization. It would have been discussing the overall working environment of your organization actually. And this is how, and this is why we could take it like that. by business policy we actually means that it is actually be the overall description or the picture or the scenario of the working environment of that organization. I repeat this initial definition which I gave you and would like you to understand it in a more simpler manner, that business policy is always be the aggregate policy. By aggregate, I mean the policy of the marketing department of your organization, the working environment of the production department of your organization, the overall functioning of the finance department of your organization, overall functioning of the sales and marketing department of your company. And what we have to do in it? We have to try to bring coordination or integration among these functional areas which are representing one organization to be even more productive from organization's end results point of view. So initially take it like that business policy would have been describing the overall policy of an organization, keeping in consideration the all different functional areas of that organization. This business policy could also be described like that it is the major policy guideline. The thing which I was telling you a moment back, a broader guideline, it is going to be the major policy guidelines drawn by the board of directors of that organization to regulate the overall direction in which company should move. So by this I actually want to make you all understand this something, that it is going to be a track, a roadmap provided to the organization by the top management, or in other words by the board of directors of that company, to make them ultimately reach at their destination. Board of directors or your top management would have been not only providing you with the guidelines, not only with the roadmap, not only with the track on which you have to travel to reach at your ultimate destination. And that ultimate destination of an organization would always be the achievement of the objectives of that organization, whether it is the level of the corporate objectives or whether it is given at the level of divisional or departmental level objectives. So again, the same thing would have been emerging out of the description of this second aspect of the definition of business policy, that it would have been providing you with the broader guideline to reach at your ultimate destination. And this broader guideline, this roadmap, this track would have been designed for you by the board of directors of your company or by the members of the top management of your organization. The same concept of business policy could have been described in another manner too, and it would have been taken like that it is the process of studying, and then process of decision making, and then process of taking action for the development of an effective business strategy. So take it like that initially business policy would have been making you and providing you with a process. And as far as this concept of process, it is very important word. I would like you all to understand the clear meanings of the term of process. It is actually be a common terminology used by all of us everywhere and used by all of us very commonly. This is how, and this is why at student level we usually take the meanings of the term of process for granted. But I really would like to give you the clear-cut idea and the clear-cut meanings of the term of this process, because this definition starts with this concept or these words, that it is a process. Process is always be that something which is based upon few steps, and these steps are always given in some order. For example, making wuzu to perform your 5-time prayers is a process. And in this process of making wuzu, to become pak, to say your that time pray, is actually be, depends upon the few faraiz and few sunnah given in this process. For example, اس وضو بنانے کے پروسیس میں جو فرائض ہیں وہ یہ ہیں کہ آپ نے اپنا چہرہ 3 مرتبہ پوری طرح دھونا ہے، دونوں آپ نے بازو کونیوں تک 3 مرتبہ دھونی ہے، اور اس میں آرڈر دیا گیا کہ آپ نے پہلے رائٹ بازو کو کونی تک دھونا ہے، پھر آپ نے لیفٹ بازو کو کونی تک دھونا ہے. اس کے بعد تیسرا فرض یہ ہے کہ آپ نے آدھے سے بھی کم، آدھے یا چوتھائی سر کا مسح کرنا ہے، اور چوتھا اور آخری فرض یہ ہے کہ آپ نے دونوں پاؤں ٹخنوں تک اچھی طرح دھونے. اور اس میں بھی آرڈر کا خیال رکھا گیا ہے کہ پہلے آپ نے بیٹا رائٹ پاؤں کو دھونا ہے اور اس کے بعد آپ نے لیفٹ پاؤں کو دھونا ہے. اب یہ جو وضو بنانے کا پروسیس ہے، آپ دیکھیں کہ یہ آرڈر میں دیا گیا. ایسا تو کبھی بھی نہیں ہوتا، آپ میں سے کوئی ایسا بھی نہیں کرتا کہ چہرہ دھونے کے بعد پہلے آپ نے سوچا ہو کہ یار چہرہ دھویا تو یہ میرے سر کے پاس ہے، میں پہلے سر کا مسح کر لیتا ہوں، اس کے بعد میں دونوں بازو کونیوں تک دھوں گا. آپ چہرہ دھونے کے بعد پہلے رائٹ بازو کو کونی تک 3 دفعہ دھوتی ہیں، پھر لیفٹ بازو کو کونی تک 3 دفعہ دھوتی ہیں، پھر آپ سر کا مسح کرتی ہیں. اور اس طرح آپ اس پروسیس میں جو چیز جس آرڈر یا نمبر پر دی گئی ہے اسی پہ پرفارم کرتی ہیں. جو ہماری ڈیفینیشن ہے بزنس پالیسی کی، یہ جو تیسری ہم ڈسکس کر رہے ہیں، یہ سٹارٹ ہوتی ہے دیٹ اٹ از اے پروسیس. سو اٹ شوز دیٹ دیر وڈ بی سم اسٹیجز or few steps given in this process of business policy, and that would have been requiring you to address and to perform each step in its given order. And secondly, what you have to do in this process would have been making you to take decisions and to make decisions. And those decisions would actually have been leading you towards the development of effective organizational strategy. And that effective organizational strategy would have been making you come up with the higher possibilities of the achievement or the accomplishment of your all 3 levels of objectives. And let me describe you this concept of decision, and then what is going to be the justification of this effective strategy development. These concepts are actually be the backbone of the philosophies and the concepts of business policy. Decision making regarding, the performance of your marketing's critical task, decision making related to the management policies to be executed within your organization, decision making related to bringing coordination in marketing and management and linking it with the financial ratios of the organization, financial cycle of the organization. To make it more simple for you, take it like that this decision making would actually have been related to each and every component of the organization into your serious consideration, keeping in those all critical functional areas of your organization into your serious consideration. It will be making you go for the development of an effective strategy. That strategy would have been further executed by you, and that execution will have been raising your chances of the achievement of your objectives. So, in this third definition of business policy, we have come up with this idea that number 1, it is a process, and process of what? Process of decision making. And decision making in which areas? keeping in consideration the all functional areas of your organization, and keeping those all functional areas of your organization into your serious and sensitive consideration, you would finally have been making an effective strategy for the organization to be pursued and to help the organization achieve its strategic objectives. And after that, now I would like to give you some little description of the evolution of business policy as a complete and independent discipline. The genesis of business policy, or the origin of business policy, can be traced back to 1911, when the Harvard Business School introduced an integrative course in management aimed at providing general management capabilities. Harvard Business School in 1911 designed a course of the specialization of management discipline to help the managers and the practitioners learn how to create coordination among different functional areas for decision-making purposes, to provide the organization's top management with effective strategy formulation. And that effective strategy formulation would have been taking that organization ahead into the proceedings of the implementation of that strategy, and finally having riser and brighter chances of the achievement of their objectives. This course was actually based on case studies, and this is how, and this is why we would actually have been proceeding ahead with the contents of this course too. At the completion of course contents of this particular seminars of business policy, I will also have been teaching you different case studies. The subject of business policy requires a different approach as far as its understanding is concerned. All practitioners, all academicians of business policy believe in this phenomena, that if you really want to develop a clear-cut and in-depth understanding of this course, it will be requiring you follow the philosophy of learning by doing. This subject will not only be very nearer to you, or would be among your most favorite subjects by reading the contents of this subject. It will be even more closer to you or nearer to you if you would have been tracing, if you have been following, if you would have been chasing the actual practices of the concepts of business policy in different organizations. And from those different organizations, you would become familiar through the reading of their case studies. These case studies of different organizations would have been actually providing you with an in-depth understanding of what you have learned out of the real practices of business policy from practical point of view. And this is what which has been discussed here, that when it was initially designed as a course in Harvard Business School in 1911, the major component of the contents of this course was based upon the case studies of different organizations. And these case studies were initially introduced in the form of school instruction purposes in 1908. However, the real impulse for the introduction of business policy in the discipline of academic curriculum came with the publication of two reports in 1959, which we will be discussing later. The Gordon and the Howell report, sponsored by Ford Foundation, had recommended a capstone course of business policy which would give participants an opportunity to pull together that they have learned in the separate business fields and utilize this knowledge in the analysis of complex business problems. Out of this particular description, you are required to understand it like that it would be the combination of the different courses of the discipline of business management taught to you at initial semesters to make you have the strong foundation of your that subject, and finally from the foundation or the principles of those different concepts you have to develop an overall understanding, a comprehensive understanding. It would have been requiring your conceptual skill to bring all these relevant phenomena and things into your consideration to solve some serious business problems which industry and your organization would have been facing at that time. So this subject was actually evolved with this concept, introduced and designed with this concept to help the managers, to help the organization's chief executive to solve the complex business problems in one go. Another philosophy of the evolution of this concept would have been given like that. In today's business environment, business policy is considered as an integrative course offered to those who have already been through a set of functional areas courses. This is what I was telling you and describing you a minute before, that you would have already studied the foundation and the basic courses of the subject of business policy, and this subject would have been offered to you at the final stages of your this discipline of business studies to help you integrate all study of business policy and finally formulate some decision making, come up with the effective strategy development and formulation to help yourself solve issues of business, issues of industry, problems faced by the different business organizations at that time. Along with that, we would have to bring this understanding about the evolution of business policy as a full-fledged concept that business policy has been used traditionally through new titles such as strategic management, corporate strategy and policy, and so on are now used extensively for this course. Gradually, over the number of years, this subject, which would actually have been teaching you how to go for the decision making about the effective strategy development, it has been passed through different phases. Even in Pakistan, this subject of business policy has been offered with different title in different universities. In Quaid-e-Azam University, at master's level of the studies of business administration, this subject has been offered with the title of business policy and strategy. In LUMS, this subject has been offered with the title of management policy. In some European business schools, this subject has been evolved as the course of business policy, and in this program of MBA, this course has been offered with the same title but with the addition of the word of seminars in public and business policy. And I would have been teaching you these two components, seminar in public policy separately and seminars in business policy separately. So take it like that. Throughout the world, this course has been offered with three titles which are commonly used and understandable all over the world, and these three alternative common titles are the title of business policy and strategy, management policy, and finally strategic management. And this particular evolution of the subject of business policy has so far been related to the academic status of the business policy course. Commonly, this subject has been taken very warmly under the title of business policy. In practice, however, the development has long different lines. They would have been applying the different strategies at different organizational level to achieve their different objectives. We would have been having a little further discussion on the evolution of this concept of business policy from the point of view of now managerial practices. How this concept, how these theories, how this definition of business policy becomes a manager's practice. Gulek has viewed the development in business policy as arising from the use of planning techniques by managers. This word of planning is very important here. Managers use the concept of business policy in their actual practices by focusing more upon their planning premises. They would have engaged themselves in scenario planning, they would have to engage themselves in strategic planning, and this planning would actually have been serving as somebody sitting at the driving seat. And this is how managers take up this particular course of business policy, this particular approach of business policy, that they would have been paying more attention, they would have been paying more focus to their planning skills. They would have been going for the planning in detail about the organization's current status. They would have been having a complete and close eye on the past of the organization, and out of this relationship of what organization has performed and did in the past, they would have been relating it with the present scenario of the organization to look at the future of that organization actually. So planning in the name of strategic planning and in the name of scenario planning will remain the main focus of the managers as far as the application of the concept of business policy is concerned. And as far as this concept of planning is concerned, I believe this something would not be a newer terminology for you. Planning, as far as the complete and detailed meanings derived and taken from the Oxford Dictionary of Business Terminology is concerned, Oxford Dictionary of Business Terminology says that planning always covers two main aspects, and these two main aspects are what to do and how to do. So managers from the practice of business policy point of view would have been engaging themselves into planning techniques, and this planning would actually be starting from day-to-day planning, and as far as we have to trace the evolution of this day-to-day planning, it is obvious that in earlier times managers involve themselves into day-to-day planning, and even till recent times they try to anticipate the future through the preparation of budgets and by using control systems like capital budgeting and management by objectives. Capital budgeting, management by objectives would definitely be covered seriously by all managers in their strategic planning components. They would have to go for the scenario planning in the form of, keeping their targets very clear in front of them, keeping their targets very clear in front of them as organizations, corporate or divisional or departmental objectives. They formulate the strategy. They practice the approach of management by objectives, that they design different levels of course of action, series of action in the name of strategy to achieve their different level objectives. And at all those different levels of objectives, whether it is given at the corporate level, whether it is given at the divisional level, or whether it is given at the departmental level, they would have to design their course of action. They would have to design their series of action to be taken by them to help themselves achieve their objectives. And this series of action or a course of action always refer to the strategy of that organization. And for these course of actions, for this series of action, they have to develop and they have to formulate their budgets, they have to maintain strict budgetary control, and all these aspects to be pursued by them, keeping in view the available financial budget to them. Along with that, I would still like to give you little more justification of the concept of business policy and how does this concept of business policy emerged into the managerial practices. These techniques were unable to emphasize the role of the future adequately. Long-range planning came into use. By this long-range planning, I want to just give you this idea that this is one and the same thing which I was telling you in the name of strategic planning a minute ago. Strategic planning or scenario planning is always be the long-term planning of the organization. How and why and in which way actually managers involve themselves into external assessment and into internal assessment. While they would engage themselves into external assessment, they would have been looking at the external macro forces of the environment. And while they would have to look at the internal assessment of their organization, they would actually have been looking at the internal environment of their organization from the point of view of the identification of the strengths or weaknesses of their organization. In external environment, the main macro forces of the external environment, namely economic forces, technological forces, political legal forces, socio-cultural forces, and international forces, they would remain the focus of the observation of the managers from long-term point of view, from the long-term objectives development point of view. They would have been keeping an eye on the changes happening in those macro forces of external environment, the change which would have been taking place into the scenario of the economic situation, the change which would have been happening into the technological aspects, changes which would have been happening into the political and legal system of their country, changes which would have been slowly and gradually emerging into the change into social and cultural values of their target market. It will remain the main focus area of the observation of a manager for the long-term objective development point of view. And whatever change which has been taking place in these macro areas of the external environment, this change would automatically be converting itself into a challenge for them. And those organizations which would have been appearing ready to face that challenge at that time, this change-based challenge will convert itself into an opportunity for them. But unfortunately, all those organizations which would not be ready to face the challenges of that change-based approach, all these changes convert themselves into challenges and automatically convert themselves into a threat for all those organizations who are not ready to face the challenges of those organizations. And this something has been taught to different students at different levels in the and under the title of SWOT analysis too. In your SWOT analysis, you study external environment to identify opportunities and threats. You study internal environment to find out your strengths and weaknesses. And the moment you would have come available with all those definite, clear-cut, available opportunities and threats being an organization, coupled with the visible strengths and weaknesses of the organizations, managers find themselves in an appropriate position and at a very good platform for the development of the long-term objectives of the organization. And that is which has been termed as the basic of the practices of business policy under the heading of strategic management. This strategic management actually replaced the term of long-term planning. Long-range planning was replaced by strategic planning, and now these days it has been replaced as strategic management. And strategic management is a term that is currently being used to describe the process of strategic decision making. Strategic decision making, I gave you a little idea about that. A strategic decision making is that decision making which used to be taken by the top management of that organization, and it would be consumed, or it is meant to be consumed, by keeping all functional areas of the organization into serious consideration for the development of an effective strategy for the organization to help that organization be able to achieve its long-term objectives. Strategic management forms the theoretical framework for business policy course today. So, let me give you this justification like that. Business policy and strategic management are actually be going side by side. Strategic management is how you practice yourself as an organization to approach the concept of business policy. And this business policy, as I told you at the start of my lecture, is meant to provide the organization with the broader guidelines, how an individual would have been working in that organization, who would be reporting home, how would be individuals would be promoting in your organization, how the performance appraisal system would have been being functional in your organization, how would you have been assigning somebody maternity leave, how would you have been assigning somebody with additional responsibility. To make it short, business policy would have been requiring you to come up with a clear-cut working environment of the organization. And as far as this working environment is concerned, you always come up with two types of working environment for an organization. You can develop a healthy working environment in your organization, or you can unfortunately come up with the otherwise or the opposite side of the picture, an unhealthy or a poor working environment of the organization. Healthy working environment or unhealthy working environment, always remember this something, is be the product of the policies of that organization. And if you would be having healthy working environment of your organization, what will happen? You would become available with a strong foundation and with a very good platform to help yourself achieve your business objectives, to help yourself achieve the objectives of your business organization. And for the achievement of those business objectives, what you will have to do? You have to run the process of strategic management. You have to practice the philosophies given into the process of strategic management. This is how we would have been taking our study little further. Historical perspective of business policy. Hofer has viewed the evolution of business policy in terms of 4 paradigms. Number 1, for the sake of convenience, these sheets may be considered as 4 overlapping phases in the development of the subject of business policy. It is interesting to note that the development of business policy as a field of study has closely followed by the demands of real life business. So take it in simple words like that: to address the real life business issues, you need to have some theoretical concepts available to you to provide you with the direction to move ahead and to make yourself available with this direction. What you will have to do, you are available with this concept of business policy, and the application of this course of business policy becomes available to us under the concept of practicing the process of strategic management. We would initially become available with the ad hoc policy centuries ago. According to Hofer and others, the first phase, which can be traced back to the mid of 1930s, rested on the paradigm of ad hoc policy making. Ad hoc policy making is always be a temporary policy. You are facing some issue, you have come up with the immediate or the temporary solution of that same difficulty. It might not be available to you for the repetition of the cure of the same problem when it emerged again. Initially, this ad hoc policy was formulated and practiced by majority of the organization because it was the need of the time, and the need for policy making arose due to the nature of American business firm of that period, because business was happening in different topsy-turvy manner at that time. There was nothing certain. There was no such competition which we faced among the business organization these days. So organizations would have been moving at a bit slow pace at that time. There was no stiff competition among the competitors of the same industry at that time. And whatever problem American business firms were facing at that time, they usually come up with the ad hoc solutions of those problems. The firms which has originally commenced operations in a single product line, catering to a unique set of customers in a limited geographical area, expanded in one or all of these three dimensions: informal controls and coordination. Always remember these two concepts as far as if you really would like to collect the actual feel of the concept of business policy and strategic management: informal control and coordination. And this informal control and coordination became partially irrelevant little later with the expansion which took place and requirement of the integration of functional areas arises at that time. This integration was brought about by forming policies to guide managerial actions. This is what I was telling you a minute ago, that the application of the philosophies of business policy realized and exercised by the managers under the title of strategic management by practicing the process of strategic management, and this is which has been given in this slide under the word of managerial action. Policy making became the prime responsibility of erstwhile entrepreneurs who later assumed the role of senior management. Policy making becomes the responsibility of those people who have passed themselves from the very early and the initial stage of the formulation of an entrepreneur. They have groomed themselves as a genuine entrepreneur. They have started some small business at early stage, and out of the effort of many years, they have come up to the level of the ownership of a big and very famous and popular multinationals owner, and they become even more appropriate individuals for this policy making. Then planned policy formulation emerged and took, come into the picture little later. That planned policy replaced the ad hoc policy concept of the American firms managers, which was in practice from 1930s till few decades. But due to the increasing environmental changes in the 30s and 40s in US, planned policy formulation replaced ad hoc policy making. And this is somehow very simple to make you all understand. Ad hoc policy was in practice till that time when things were moving at comparatively slow pace. But with the fast-paced competition among different business organizations felt the need and the requirement of some well-planned business policy, well-planned policy to address the real business issues of that time. Based on this second paradigm, the emphasis shifted to the integration of functional areas in a rapidly changing environment. This rapidly changing environment could easily be understood by you all under the concept of dynamic environment. Dear students, dynamic environment is that environment where changes and challenges usually take place at a very, very high pace. Changes are coming at very high pace due to the development of infrastructure of technology, due to the development of the overall foundation of innovation and creativity. People are coming up with the innovative and creative solution of the standardized problem. Things are replaced by the alternatives, and this dynamic environment would have been making vacuum and space for the changes to take place at a very high pace. Dear students, you and we all do believe in this something, that change is the only constant in this world. Change is the only constant in this world means that it is that something which has to come by all means. Nobody could stop it. And this is an inbuilt characteristics of change. That whenever change happens, it automatically converts itself into a challenge. And all those organizations which are ready to face that challenge, it becomes an opportunity for them. And all those organizations which unfortunately remains not ready to face the challenges of that time, this change-based challenge has converted itself automatically into a threat for those organizations. So, being student, I will be advising and suggesting you this something: always keep an eye on the changes taking place around you. Always have strong observation on the changes happening around you into the economic areas, into the technological areas, into social and cultural values, the way people have been changing their consumption pattern, the way the people have been coming up with the higher and lower pocket, the way people have been bringing into gradual changes of accepting and then giving their response to different consumer and business products. And at the end, what you have to understand is this, that these changes which were happening at comparatively higher pace after 1940s, this would have developed the requirement for the functional manager of an organization to bring all functional areas of their organization into serious consideration, take up it as one organization in place of taking it as different functional areas of organization, and then keeping in view the overall package of your organization, designing and formulation of the policy which would be practiced by the process of strategic management to help that organization achieve its long-term objectives. Now we would have been having little more discussion on this concept of strategy paradigm. Increasing complexity and accelerating changes. This is what I was discussing with you all a moment ago, that dynamic environment, changes happening at very high pace, accelerating changes in the environment made the planned policy paradigm irrelevant, since the needs of a business could no longer be served by policy making and functional area integration only. By the 1960s, there was a demand for a critical look at the basic concepts of business and its relationship to the environment. The concepts of strategy satisfied this requirement, and the third phase, based on strategy paradigm, emerged in the early 60s. So this particular slide and paragraph which I have discussed with you has been telling us this concept that even in 1960s, out of the dynamic environment, out of the accelerating changes happening into the environment of the organization, external environment and internal environment, planned policy, which was the main focus of the functional managers of an organization to be practiced to solve any real business issues of the organization, became irrelevant. At that time, it became more relevant to address the changes which are based and coming and emerged and out of the source of external environment, out of and making it a good match of what organization would have been having in the form of its internal environment. And this has given a vacuum to get the picture of, to get the concept of the strategic management enters into the overall scenario. The current thinking which emerged in the 80s is based on the fourth paradigm of strategic management, and this fourth paradigm of strategic management initially focuses on strategic management as the intersection of two broad fields: inquiry, the strategic process of business firms, and the responsibilities of general management. Thompson and Strickland say the approaches and methods of analysis of strategic management have not yet coalesced into the theory of how to manage an enterprise. But they very definitely do represent a powerful way of thinking to resolve strategic issues. Strategic issues requires you to be even more attentive, more wiser, more alert to solve and to keep your organization stay active, to solve the problems of the organization, to make it stay alert and active and alive into the competition, to safeguard its existing market share, to safeguard its existing sales volume. And this strategic thinking, this strategic requirement would actually have been taken in another perspective too. Let me give you the actual philosophies of this strategic something. We have discussed strategic planning, we have till yet discussed scenario planning, but I must give you the actual concept of this strategic management and this strategic concept as a single word. Strategy or strategic, is that something which is very, very critical for the organization as far as its survival is concerned. Let me give you another example. We commonly listen and we commonly discuss this something like that Kashmir is a strategic asset to Pakistan, right? It means that Kashmir is the Shahrak to Pakistan. In Urdu, we call it کشمیر پاکستان کی شہرگ ہے. اگر شہرگ کٹ جائے تو انسان زندہ نہیں رہ سکتا. اسی طرح کشمیر ہمارے لیے جب ہم اس بات کو انگلش میں کرتے ہیں تو ہم کہتے ہیں کشمیر از اے اسٹریٹجک ایسٹ ٹو پاکستان. کہ خدا نہ خواستہ اگر یہ ہم سے اکیلا ہو جائے یا علیحدہ ہو جائے تو پاکستان زندہ نہیں رہ سکتا. ایک آرگنائزیشن جب اسٹریٹجک کا کانسیپٹ یوز کرتی ہے تو آپ کے لیے یہ بات ذہن میں آنی چاہیے کہ اٹس دیٹ آبجیکٹو, اٹس دیٹ ٹارگیٹ اور گول which is very very sensitive and critical in its nature as far as maintaining the survival and the growth of that organization is concerned. And this strategic objective always be designed and formulated and finally be stated by the top management of that organization. And by this strategic objective or strategic goals or strategic corporate targets, I actually mean those targets, those goals, those objectives which are very very critical for the organization to be achieved by them. If they won't be able to achieve and accomplish their strategic goals or their strategic targets, they could have faced complete elimination from the competition of that industry. Industry would make them out from the competition anymore. Industry will kick that organization out of the competition which remains unable to achieve its corporate and strategic objectives and strategic goals. So this is how we will have to understand what has been written in this particular slide, that strategic management based business policy will actually have been focused more in 80s and in current times on strategic issues. This is how we would have discussed the evolution of strategic management concepts. Along with that, I must give you this idea that resolution of strategic issues which affect the future of a business firm has been a continual endeavor in the subject of business policy. Companies are meant to grow. Companies and firms and business organization and business ventures are firm to grow on daily basis. They are not into the industry only for one day. They are not into the business only for 1 week. They are into that industry for longer period of times. They are there to survive. They are there to grow, and they are there to earn some profit out of those extensive efforts. So it is actually be related to the continuity and the success of the organization. This endeavor is based on the development of strategic thinking. The moment you develop your strategic thinking, you would have been looking at tomorrow's market. You would have been looking at your survival and growth. You would have been designing your approaches how to proceed ahead to achieve and accomplish your strategic goals, because without the accomplishment of those strategic goals, your standing, your existence will become questioned. Competition, industry will not be making you stay anymore if you are not coming up with the strategic thinking. Let me give you this one line of this شعر. جرم ضعیفی کی سزا ہے مرگ مفاجات. یہ کچھ اس طرح ہے یا یہ اس کا کنسپٹ ہے کہ اگر آپ توانا نہیں ہیں, اگر آپ کمپٹیشن میں نہیں ہیں, اگر آپ کمپٹیشن کو فیس نہیں کر پا رہے, آسان الفاظ میں اگر آپ اسٹریٹجک تھنکنگ نہیں کر رہے تو آپ کی سزا موت ہے. جرم ضعیفی کی سزا ہے مرگ مفاجات. مجھے نہیں پتا یہ ایگزیکٹلی اس طرح ہے یہ شعر, لیکن اس کا کانسیپٹ یہ ہے. اس کا کانسیپٹ کی ریلیونس انڈسٹری میں یہ ہے کہ یو ڈونٹ ہیو ٹو بیکم ضعیف, یو ڈونٹ ہیو ٹو بیکم ویک ایکچولی, اینڈ ٹو سیف گارڈ یو فرام this weakness, what you'll have to do, you have to engage yourself into strategic thinking, into strategic planning actually. As Whitefield says, really useful training in strategic management should yield a comprehension of a few general principles with a thorough grounding in the way that apply to a variety of concrete details. Most likely, the students will forget the details and principle, but remember, usually unconsciously. They would be remembering this unconsciously. New, non-obvious ways of thinking strategically. So try develop the habit of going for strategic thinking as an individual, as a student, as a father, as a businessman, as a strategic planning manager of a multinational firm, or even as a teacher. The general principle underlying strategic thinking have been the focus of the efforts of researchers and academicians in the field of business policy. Take this statement like that: without strategic thinking, there is no concept and there is no close link of business policy to the practices of a manager in the form of strategic management. So in short, or in simple words, for business policy approaches, what you will initially have to do is to develop approaches of strategic thinking. Business policy, as defined by Christensen and others, the study of functions and responsibilities of senior management. Now, business policy, we have been gradually coming closer to the formulation of a final concept of business policy. We need to come up with the final concrete understanding of the business policy, and this definition tells us that it is the practice and the responsibilities of senior management, the crucial problems that affect success in the total enterprise, and the decisions that determines the direction of the organization and shape its future. So this is how the story actually ends as far as the clear-cut understanding of the concept of business policy is concerned, that business policy is the study or the subject of understanding the functions and the responsibilities of senior management of an organization. And the functions and the responsibilities of senior management of an organization is always be to provide the direction, is always be related to providing the organization with the direction to proceed ahead for the accomplishment of its long-term objectives, to take it at its given future destination, to help the organization achieve and earn its desired destination, to earn and to win your own cup of tea. In spite of given for chances, you will have to go for your own designed choice actually. And this is how, in simple words, now if I really would like to give you the final understanding on the note of this business policy, on the basis of this whole discussion, my dear students, take the concept of business policy as the description of functions and responsibilities of top management of an organization, and their functions and responsibilities, being the top management of an organization, always remains aligned with the development of the roadmap, track, motivation, dedication, commitment, strategy formulation to be executed to help that organization achieve its long-term goals, to achieve its long-term objectives, or in other words, to shape its future. The problems of business policy or policy in business is, different from the public affairs on the basis of following things actually. Number one, the choice of purpose. Whenever you have to formulate the policy for your business, and I already told you this something, policy for the business means working environment of your business organization. How would you be addressing this? Number one, your clear-cut purpose should be very clearly and loudly understood by you and by those all who are involved with you in taking that venture ahead. And that is this: purpose should be clear. Objective, target should be clear. This policy based upon your purpose. What do you actually want to do? What do you actually want to earn? What do you actually want to achieve? What would be your purpose? This is how it would become very simple for you to come up with your choice of policy. Another thing which helps you come up with the policy of your business is the molding of organizational identity and character. You have to come up with a strong image of your organization. You have to come up with the strong character of your organization. You have to develop a very positive identity of your organization. Take the example of Unilever, my dear students. If Unilever or Lever Brothers offers any new brand for its customers into the market, it already developed acceptance from its target market, from its customers, because the image of the name of Lever Brothers or Unilever is attached with that brand name. It means that as an organization, you have to develop your unique identity and your character to be appreciated by your target market, by your customers, so that they must become and stay completely loyal to your organization. They must stay completely fair to your organization. They must not have been thinking about the alternative brands. They must have not been switching over to the consumption of alternative brands and available other options. They must have been remaining loyal to the consumption of your product. The only guarantee to earn your business purposes, my dear students, is to make your customer come back for the second time purchase of your product and for the third time purchase of the product of your company, and even till that time when he or she will become habitual or even addicted to the consumption of your product. Take the example of this Disprin. For example, اگر آپ کے سر میں درد ہے, آپ کیا کرتے ہیں؟ آپ کو پتہ ہے میں ایک ٹیبلٹ ڈسپرین یا ایک ٹیبلٹ فار ایگزامپل پیناڈول کھاؤں گا اور میں ٹھیک ہو جاؤں گا. آپ کو جب کبھی بھی سر میں درد ہوتا ہے, آپ اپنا یہ پروگرام ڈیسیژن کرتے ہیں, آپ نے پیناڈول لی, ڈسپرین لی, کوئی اور آلٹرنیٹو ٹیبلٹ جو آپ کو ریمیڈی دیتی ہے یا وہ اس کی آپ ہیبیچول ہیں, آپ نے وہ ٹیبلٹ لی اور آپ کا سر کا درد 5 سے 10 منٹ میں ٹھیک ہو گیا. اب آپ کو جب بھی خدا نہ خواستہ سر کا درد ہوتا ہے, آپ اسی پروگرامڈ ڈیسیژن کو ریپیٹ کر لیتے ہیں. اصل میں یہ کس وجہ سے ہے کہ وہ کمپنی جو ڈسپرین یا پیناڈول مینوفیکچر اور برانڈ کر کے مارکیٹ کر رہی ہے, اس نے اس کی کوالٹی اتنی اچھی ڈیولپ کر لی ہے, اس برانڈ کا کیریکٹر اتنا اسٹرانگ ڈیولپ ہو گیا ہے کہ آپ کو جب بھی اس ایشو کو آپ کو فیس کرنا پڑتا ہے, آپ اس کی سالو کرنے کے لیے, ریزالو کرنے کے لیے سیم ریمیڈی لیتے ہیں اینڈ یو آلویز بیکم سکسیزفل. So strategic thinking, so strategic planning, and all these related aspects of policy making for your business organization requires you to initially look at your purpose as a business organization, and secondly, develop the character and identity of your organization, which must be appreciated by its target customer, which must be appreciated by its existing or potential customers. Another aspect of this particular phenomena could be taken like that: the continuous definition of what needs to be done. What needs to be done? There is no other choice available to you. This is the only choice. This is how you have to behave actually. This is what your customer requires. This is the only something which has to be done, which is expected from you to be done successfully. This would have been enhancing the overall satisfaction of your customer. And this is how, as a business organization, out of the formulation of policy for your business ventures, you would have become clear that what is expected out of you as a business organization from your offered product mix to your target market. Target market, your actual customer, will always expect something genuine satisfier out of your offering. They would have been paying you for the price of your that brand. And if they have been paying you as a price of your that product, they must remain very critical about this aspect, that that purpose must be served for which they have purchased that product and consumed that product. So whatever is expected, it requires to be done by you by all means. And the mobilization of resources for the attainment of goals in the face of competition or adverse circumstances. My dear student, this is another aspect, that whenever you would have been involved into the mobilization of your resources, there is always 4 types of resources: human resources, financial resources, information resources, and sources and resources of time. Time is money. The most important and crucial and critical source of an organization is the resource and the source of time. If you are into the movement, into the mobilization, into the exercising of those resources, or whenever you would have been facing adverse or unexpected circumstances, you would have to still remain committed for the attainment of your organizational goals, your strategic goals as an organization, your divisional goal as an organization. And this is actually be the real test of the capacities and the talent and the temperament of your management team. Management team means member of your top management, members of your middle level management, and members of your first level management, to address the adverse and unexpected circumstances offered to you from the environment changes, but you are still surviving, you are still growing, it is not damaging you badly, you have developed a protection shield among your organization for its status and for its maintenance, or for the maintenance of the status quo, or even showing growth in those unexpected, adverse, or worst given situation or environmental circumstances. So, my dear students, this comprehensive definition which I told you a minute ago covers many aspects of business policy. Finally, I have been now describing these different aspects of the definition of business policy one by one for you, to sum up this whole lecture for you all. Firstly, the definition which I discussed in complete detail with you all and which was shown to you in my previous slide. Now I am going to describe it from its each and every aspect one by one, to give you the complete summary and the summation of what we have discussed in our today's lecture. Number 1, it is considered as the study of functions and responsibilities of the senior management. Never let any confusion comes into your mind as far as the philosophy of business policy is concerned, my dear students. It is always be the study and the understanding of the functions and responsibilities of the top management of an organization, related to what? Related to the actual business problems which might and which could affect the real success of that business organization. So in short words, in simple words, business policy is the study of the functions and the responsibility of top management, how would they have been performing all those responsibilities to avoid the organization from any type of failure, from any type of unsuccessful happenings out of their extensive and genuine efforts. They would have been putting their total effort to make the organization stay successful even in worst unexpected circumstances and even in something which is totally going against the standing of that organization. Secondly, this concept of business policy or this subject of business policy, my dear students, deals with the determination of the future course of action. How would you have to proceed ahead in future? I remember in the start of my lecture, I told you this something, that board of directors would have been providing you with the roadmap, with the track, in the form of the policies of your organization to proceed ahead. And this same thing has been given in these words here, that it will be providing you with the future course of action. What you will have to do, how will you have to do that, how much intensity you would have been involving into that something, how much focus you would have been putting to the different aspects of that something, that an organization has to adopt. So the second most important component of the study of business policy, my dear students, would be providing organizations, members of organization, team of that organization with the future course of action. If you would be having clear-cut idea about your future course of action, and if you would have developed your advance agreement with that future course of action, you would have been moving with high pace on that provided track. There would be no unexpected hurdles or barriers appearing in your way or would have been stopping you or any stopper from the main destination which you really would like to achieve. Thirdly, this subject of business policy, this course of business policy makes you involved into choosing the purpose and defining what needs to be done in order to mold the character and identity of an organization. This is what which I have discussed with you in complete detail in our previous slide, my dear students. Development of your identification as an organization, development of your character as an organization. Let me give you the example of this Unilever or Lever Brothers again. They got very positive image among the minds of the total target market. If somebody asks me that this is the brand offered by the Lever Brothers, I would have been instantly accepting its worth, and if it would be required by me, it would be making me decide to buy this one, because this image, this character has already been associated with the supplier, with the producer of that particular brand. And finally, it is also concerned, meanings business policy is also concerned with the mobilization of resources. You have different divisions in the world, for example, BAT, British American Tobacco. In Pakistan, they have there this division of PTC in the name of Pakistan Tobacco Company. They must be having some division in Malaysia. They must be having some division in Turkey, and they would be division of one organization. They might be the strategic business unit of one organization. Resources, which I was telling you before, 4 types of resources: resource of time, resource of money, financial resources, and human resources. My dear students, they are meant to be mobilized. they are meant to be practiced, they are meant to be exercised, even they are meant to be transferred from one division to another division, which will actually help the organization achieve its goals. So, in simple words, remember 4 main areas of the study of business policy. Number 1, it is the study of understanding the functions and responsibilities of top management of an organization to help that organization achieve its strategic, divisional and departmental objectives. Secondly, out of this first aspect or component, it is always meant to provide you with the clear-cut direction as far as your future is concerned. It will have been telling you which particular future course of action you have to take up, you have to come up with to actually make your presence felt visibly and significantly by all main competitors of that industry. Thirdly, it is always meant to help you develop your identification and character as an organization. This is the third main component of the study of business policy. And lastly and finally, the last aspect of the study of business policy, my dear students, always deals with the mobilization of available organizational resources to help that organization achieve its strategic, divisional and operational goals. Now, let me provide you with the overall summary of what we have discussed in our first lecture. مائی ڈیئر اسٹوڈینٹس، ہم نے آج کے اس لیکچر میں سب سے پہلے یہ ڈسکس کیا میرے انٹروڈکشن کے بعد کہ اس سبجیکٹ میں کیا کیا مین کنٹینٹس ہیں. ہمارے اس سبجیکٹ میں جو کہ ٹائٹل اس کا ہے سیمینارز ان پبلک اینڈ بزنس پالیسی، ہم کچھ کمپوننٹ پبلک پالیسی کا پڑھیں گے اور کچھ کمپوننٹ ہم بزنس پالیسی کا پڑھیں گے. پبلک پالیسی میں ہمارا فوکس گورنمنٹ جو اپنی پالیسیز فارمولیٹ کرتی ہے، فائنینشیل پالیسیز سے لے کے ٹریڈ پالیسیز تک، ان تمام پالیسیز کو پڑھا جاتا ہے. ان کی فارمولیشن کس طرح ہوتی ہے، ان کی ایگزیکیوشن کس طرح ہوتی ہے. ہم اس کے حوالے سے اس میں دیکھیں گے آگے فیوچر میں کہ پالیسی سائیکل فرام پبلک پالیسی پوائنٹ آف ویو کیسے فارمولیٹ کیا جاتا ہے. ہم پبلک پالیسی کی کچھ ٹائپس پڑھیں گے، اس میں فارمل اور انفارمل ٹائپس ہیں. ہم اس پبلک پالیسی کی امپلیمنٹیشن اور ایگزیکیوشن سے جو لیڈرشپ سٹائلز ایمرج ہوتے ہیں ان پہ ڈسکس کریں گے. اور آج کی کلاس کے شروع میں میں نے آپ کو یہ بتایا کہ اس کمپوننٹ یعنی کہ پبلک پالیسی کے کمپوننٹ کے اینڈ پہ ہم کچھ یہ ڈسکس کریں گے کہ ڈفرینٹ کنٹریز کی پالیسیز کیسی ہیں، وہ اس کو کس طرح فارمولیٹ کرتی ہیں، اس کو کس طرح ایگزیکیوٹ کرتی ہیں، اور ان پالیسیز کی فارمولیشن اور ایگزیکیوشن کی وجہ سے انہوں نے دنیا میں کس طرح ترقی کی یا ان کو کس طرح کے مسائل کا سامنا کرنا پڑا. ہمارے اس سبجیکٹ کی اسٹڈی کا ایک کمپوننٹ یہ ہے. ہمارے اس سبجیکٹ کی اسٹڈی کا سیکنڈ کمپوننٹ بزنس پالیسی کی اسٹڈی سے ہے. اس سیکنڈ کمپوننٹ کو آج ہم نے ڈیٹیل سے ڈسکس کیا. سب سے پہلے ہم نے بزنس پالیسی کا اوورال ایک جنرل بریف لیا، اس کے بعد ہم نے جنرلی اس کو ڈیفائن کیا. ڈیفائن کرنے کے بعد ہم نے بزنس پالیسی کی ایوولوشن کو ڈسکس کیا. اس کے بعد ہمیں بیچ میں موقع ملا کہ ہم نے پالیسی کی حوالے سے کچھ باتیں کیں. اس کے بعد ہمیں اسی ایوولوشن میں پتہ چلا کہ کس طرح کی 4 سٹیجز سے یہ پالیسی گزری ہے. ایڈ ہاک پالیسی تھی، پلانڈ پالیسی تھی، اس کے بعد اسٹریٹجک تھنکنگ آئی ہے، اس کے بعد ہم نے اسٹریٹجک مینجمنٹ کو ٹیک اپ کیا. اس کے ساتھ ساتھ ہم نے آج کے اس لیکچر کے اینڈ پہ بزنس پالیسی کی جو فارمل ٹیکسچول انڈرسٹینڈیبل ڈیفینیشنز ہیں اس کے بارے میں ڈیٹیل سے ڈسکشن کی ہے، اور اس ڈسکشن نے آج ہمیں یہ بتایا کہ بزنس پالیسی کی اسٹڈی جو ہے یہ پالیسی میکنگ فار بزنس ہے. اس پالیسی میکنگ فار بزنس کی ایگزیکیوشن مینیجریل فنکشنز کا ایک حصہ ہوتا ہے، اور مینیجریل فنکشن اینڈ رسپانسبلٹیز میں اس کو ہم اسٹریٹجک مینجمنٹ کے پروسیس کے طور پہ ایگزیکیوٹ کرتے ہیں. جب یہ بات ہمیں سمجھ آ گئی تو ہم نے اس ڈیفینیشن کے 4 ڈفرینٹ کمپوننٹس بنا لیے اپنی آسانی کے لیے، تاکہ آپ کو اس کا کلیئر کٹ پتہ ہو، اس کا فوکس پتہ ہو، اس کا براڈر نیچر کا پتہ ہو. تو ہمیں وہ جو 4 کمپوننٹس اویلیبل ہو گئے ہیں اس میں پہلی بات یہ ہے کہ بزنس پالیسی اسٹڈی ہے ایک آرگنائزیشن کے ٹاپ مینجمنٹ کی فنکشنز اور رسپانسبلٹیز کو انڈرسٹینڈ کرنے کی، تاکہ ان کی اس چیز سے ہمیں پتہ چلے کہ وہ اپنی آرگنائزیشن کو فیوچر میں کہاں لے کے جاتے ہیں اور وہ اپنے آبجیکٹیوز کیسے اچیو کرتے ہیں. نمبر 1. نمبر 2، آج کی اس ڈسکشن کو ہم سم اپ اس طرح کر رہے ہیں کہ بزنس پالیسی نے ہمیں یہ بتا دیا کہ یہ ایک آرگنائزیشن کے فیوچر کورس آف ایکشن کو ڈٹرمائن کرنے کے لیے ہوتی ہے. نمبر 3، اس ڈیفینیشن نے ہمیں یہ بتا دیا کہ اس میں ایک آرگنائزیشن نے اپنی انڈیویجول آئیڈینٹی اور کیریکٹر کس طرح ڈیولپ کر کے انکارپوریٹ کرنا ہوتا ہے اپنی آفرنگز ٹو دیئر کسٹمرز میں. اور فائنلی بزنس پالیسی کی اسٹڈی کا آخری کمپوننٹ یہ ہے کہ یہ موبلائزیشن آف ریسورسز کو بھی سیریسلی ڈسکشن اس پہ ہوتی ہے، اس کو ایکسرسائز کس طرح کیا جاتا ہے، اور اس موبلائزیشن آف ریسورسز کا مقصد یہ ہوتا ہے تاکہ آرگنائزیشن اپنے لانگ ٹرم اسٹریٹجک گولز کو اچیو کر سکے. تھینک یو ویری مچ.